This is Georgie Kelly from Bohemians Football Club. Make sure to subscribe to Irish Footy Vlogs for all your LOI content.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. I'm joined this week with Keith and Keane, and we're going to preview the upcoming games. Obviously, it's the second to last kind of fixture of games, so we're getting close to the season finishing. I suppose, lads, we're better to start off than Bohs and Shamrock Rovers. We'll go to you first, Keith. Obviously, before we even get into the game, there's a few talking points about this. Firstly, Shamrock Rovers have no away fans. Obviously, they didn't give Bohs any away fans, and it's looking like it's going to be a sellout of Bohs fans. And we've got Lions, Devy and Tierney, who are possibly going to be missing for this game because they're away with Ireland, who is playing on the same day. Where else would you see it? And, Rovers have the league kind of won already. So will their foot be off the pedal a little bit? There'll be no fans. Talk us through this one. Give us your thoughts on this one.
I don't think Rovers are going to hand Bulls to 3 points as easy as that, Dad. Sorry about that. But yeah, it's disappointing, to be fair, that Devy, Tierney and Lions will be out of this game. It's a big blow to Bulls. Be interested to see how they go out in midfield. I think Levinson Buckley will probably play. Maybe Mullins. They might try Mullins, see who gets on against very strong Rovers midfield. As you said, Rovers have the title won, but I can't see them taking their foot off the pedal here, Daz. It's going to be a difficult game, I think, for Bulls. No away fans. Yeah, it's very disappointing. But I believe there's an agreement for next season in place that this doesn't happen again, because it can't happen again going into next season with any clubs. So there's going to have to be a contract signed, basically. So that's probably what they have to do, just to make sure we're not in this situation again. As for the game, it's a massive game for Bulls, let's be honest. They need to try and win so that they're in a good position going into the last day of the season. They always do well against Rovers, even when they're under the cosh. And as I said, they're missing that midfield. They kind of are under the cosh a little bit, but Rovers are playing very well. The likes of Mandrew, good friend of yours, is playing very well at the moment. Like, he's getting goals, he's getting into positions. Very good player. You see, people thought he was a replacement for Jack Byrne, or some people, like obviously not us, but he was never that type of player. Like, he's not the type of player who picks up the ball and really influences games from deep, spreads passes around, gets into great areas, very good finisher, and picks up pockets, very difficult to mark. And I think if Buckley's playing for Bowles, he might have his work cut out there. But it's a difficult one to judge, Daz. That's a lot to take out of Bowles' team, I think, especially in the midfield with Devy and the way Tierney's been playing recently. He was exceptional up against Drogheda as well. So I think even though it means more to Bowles, I have a funny feeling Rovers might go and do a job and beat them here.
Yeah. Keno, just to go to you about, obviously, Bohs have played Shamrock Rovers a few times this season, and obviously recently in the Cup they bet them 2-1 and they bet them in the league already, and I think the last game they lost to Shamrock Rovers. So obviously this season they've done quite well against Shamrock Rovers, but other factors to play too, as in they weren't missing so many players like they are now, and like Keith went through the options there in midfield. Like, you're missing players that you can't really replace with like for like players. Like Livingston is obviously a completely different player than Ross Tierney. Obviously, Mullins is not a right back. So it's going to be a very difficult challenge for Bohs. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, look, it's going to be tough. In fairness to the league, it's the first time we've actually played this late. Like, I know the season finished on this day last year. Exactly was the last day of the season, and that would have been the end of it, and then the international break. So this is the first time that the league has probably had to deal with, and they probably, when they were doing it at the start of the season, probably didn't think about this. And look, none of us really did, to be honest, until like last week till we found out, really. So you can understand that a little bit, and I think, like I said, next year that'll be all sorted out. But you can't really postpone the game. I can see where the FA are coming from. It has to be played. It's the same time players want the holidays. They've been training since January as well, so you have to put that into account as well. They've been with our clubs probably since before. And then, a lot, like you see Damien Duff's team already coming back before Christmas. So, there's not that long, it's not that long of a break. So, I can understand the FA wanting to get games played. Look, it's going to happen to Bohs are probably the real team missing out more than any others in terms of, Pats have their keeper gone, and a couple of players here and there, but I think Bohs are missing their 3 main men. So it's going to be a challenge. Like I said, I'm disappointed there's no away fans, Daz. I know you won't care, But, you know, for the league's sake, Bows and Rovers, the Derby.
No, I actually just going to stop you there. I actually do care. I actually would love if Derby night was back and away fans are back, and hopefully this will never happen again, because I just think it's a disgrace for both clubs, really. And I think both set of fans should be in. But obviously, you know, it's happened. It's going to be great. It's going to be a full house there for both fans. But I would like if, you know, the Derbies came back. We're coming to the other side of coronavirus, hopefully, restriction-wise anyway. And hopefully there'll never be away fans, never at games again. So hopefully, you know, this doesn't happen again.
Yeah, because, you know, we've always seen over the years the videos and the atmosphere. It's just electric when there's both sets in. And, you know, that's going to take away from the game, in my opinion. I think, look, we go back to the cup game when Bowes won it in Dalymount. There was no away fans. There was 700 there, but I felt like there was 3,000 in fairness. It was a really mad atmosphere. But at the same time, you know, Rovers scored in that game, and you're nearly waiting for the fans to jump around, and you know you're waiting for Dalymount to just erupt from the Des Kelly, but you know it wasn't to be, and I think it's going to be a shame if that happens again. But look, I don't think it'll take away from the game. I don't even think the 3 players gone will take away from the game. I still think Bowes have a lot of quality in the midfield, with Buckley, Levingston, they're totally different players. I think Mullins is going to be a Dawson Devoy or a Tierney in a couple of seasons, maybe. But I think Levingston is very defensive minded. Buckley's defensive minded. So I don't know whether it's going to be a case of let's stop Rovers playing, or let's go and have a right go at it. And I think it'd be more stopping them playing and disrupting them, like what we've seen in the cup game. You know, they kind of Bowles kind of focused on Rovers more than they actually focused on themselves. It was all about stopping Rovers and going into their game plan. And I just think Bowles are better when they have a right go at teams, and they went at Rovers in the league. We've seen it in the league, and they caused trouble. In the cup, in my opinion, we're very lucky to get the win in terms of why they stopped playing their own game plan. But you look, it worked out for them in the end. They're in the cup final. But I don't know what to make of this game. Really, it's disappointing. It's on the same night as everyone else. But I'm saying that, you know, you can't be Friday nights. I'd be fuming. Like, why should Bowes or Rovers just playing a Saturday for everyone else? You know, that's your argument. Friday nights under the lights. You can't get a better game. This is the best game, and I'm gonna go for a draw. I just think it's I'd Bowes have to win it. I think Bowes need 4 points, in my opinion. This has to be the 3 points for me, if I'm being honest with you. This has to be the game that they get 3 points, because it's not looking good with the other teams around them.
Yeah, definitely. I do see it as well as a chance for the players to come in, make their spot on the team. Obviously, the cup final coming up, every player is going to want to go out and do well, and every player is going to put in 110% effort against Shamrock Rovers. I've no doubt about that. I myself personally, obviously, it's going to be a very hard game. There's no away fans. It's going to be full house of Bohs fans. I don't know. That's going to be an amazing experience. It's probably never going to happen again. So I'm going to embrace the occasion. Hopefully I'll get a match day vlog done. It'll be a very different one. There'll be no away fans there. I'll be showing the away fan section. There'll be Bohs fans, but that's what you have, the greatest league in the world.
They can wear green t-shirts if they want.
Myself, lads, I'm going to go with a 1-0 Bohs win. This 1-0 win. I'll take that all day long. Keith, you're going to go a Shamrock Rovers win, I think.
Yeah,
not having that.
Yeah, definitely going with the Rovers win. I think they might nick it here. Yeah.
I'll go for the draw. Is it on telly? Is it?
I don't
know that. Get down to the ground, lads. The stick is still going.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, all right. Win, draw, and a loss. So one of us will be right anyway. Suppose moving into the next game, then we've got Derry against Sligo. Obviously, these teams are, you know, they're kind of second and third in the league, shall we say, and they're doing very, very well. Third and fourth in the league. They're doing very, very well. Obviously, Derry got 48 points, and Keith, let's go to you with this one. Obviously, like, you know, these teams are kind of the upper end of the table now. And what do you make of this game going into? Obviously, Derry are they've actually drawn their last 3 games too, so they don't want to be changing that into wins.
Yeah, massive game for Derry City. Similar to Bows and Rovers, to be honest. They need to try and win this game as well. Sligo, I think we're without Johnny Kenny, who, by the way, scored and assisted for the under-19s today in a 3-2 win, wasn't it? Against Montenegro, yeah. So fair play to Johnny Kenny. It's fabulous to see that. But Sligo, you feel, might be on the beach a little bit here. Not technically they can catch Pats, but at the same time, you know what I mean? They just confirmed themselves into Europe the other week, which is fantastic for them. Derry at the Brandywell, very difficult to beat. It's going to be an interesting one. I think it'll be tight, though. I think it's going to be one of those tight games. Derry's games have been very tight in recent weeks as well. As you say, they're getting a lot of late goals to actually draw games, to be honest with you. So that's a good thing, but it's also frustrating that they can't get the 3 points. Sligo, I thought generally were exceptional at Richmond Park, but that was like a cup final performance they put in many ways, the way backs to the wall and they made sure nothing was getting past and things like that and hitting on the counter attack. But Derry, for me, I fancy Derry. I was thinking a draw, but I think I'm going to go Derry here. Derry to win 2-1.
Okay, nice one. Keno, obviously we know ourselves going to Derry is no easy task, but going up to the Brandywell is always very hard. But I think Sligo are yet to win Derry this season, so they're not going to want to go the whole season without getting a win against Derry. So I definitely think they're going to put a real test in for Derry. And like I myself can see this being another draw for Derry, and that's 4 draws in a row. What's your thoughts on this game, and give us your prediction? How do you think it's going to fare out?
Yeah, going to be a big game for Derry. I think it really sets them up. Then if they were to get the 3 points, I think you'd like to think that'd be 4th spot. Because you'd like, if you're a Derry fan, you'd like to think Rovers are going to go and do a job on Bows. You'd like to think Dundalk probably won't pick up all 3. Especially over 2 games I'm talking about with Dundalk. I can't see them winning the last 2. But sorry, Dundalk only have 1 left. I can't see them getting 3 points out of that against Derry. So I'm going to go.
Big gap in goal difference, by the way, as well. Just throw that in there. Derry are +5 in Dundalk, which is decent, isn't it?
Yeah, and I just think Derry will win this. There's going to be a brilliant atmosphere up there. It's mad to think, I know a couple of players came in the summer, but the bulk of the squad was there from the start, and it's just totally different. He's really rejuvenated the whole club, and it's great to see Derry back where they belong. And I think they're going to win this, and I think that 4th spot is Derry's all over. I know they haven't won the last 3 weeks, and they haven't done it. I just think at this minute in time, I think Derry are the best team in the league in them 3 positions. In them 3 in the league, in the European race, I think Derry are the best side. So I'm gonna go with a Derry win, and I think it might be 2-3-0. I think it'd be a decent one for Derry.
Yeah, that's obviously very different opinions. Keith thinks it'll be very tight, and I think
we both think Derry will win, though.
Yeah, and I'm the one here saying they'll draw, being the boring draw. Interesting one anyway, and obviously 2 very good teams playing against each other. Hopefully it's a very good game of football. So let's move on to the next one then. We're going over to Keane Mountain Country, and we've got Pats against Harps, Keith. Obviously, Harps are down towards the foot of the table. They're level on points with Waterford, 40, I think it's 44 points, 40 points to have. But they're level on points anyway towards the bottom. So it's a very, very big game for Harps. Pats might have, Keno obviously will disagree with this. I think Pats might have their heads turned towards the cup. They'll be looking at Harps mainly. It's not an easy win, but something that they should win. They might rest a few players. They have European football secured, so don't really need to go and risk everything, in my opinion, either. It's going to be a very tough game, Keith. What do you make of this one?
Yeah, as you say, it's a massive game for Harps. It's actually a big weekend for Drogheda as well, because if Harps go and get a draw or lose this game, Drogheda are definitely staying in the Premier Division. So without kicking the ball, they'll be looking at that game in particular. Pats, as you said, the last 2 games, this is going to be their 5th home game in a row, by the way, which is interesting if you tie in the cup as well. But I think Pats will be fairly disappointed with the Sligo performance. I know what you're saying, heads turned and all, but I think that might focus the minds a little bit for this game, which is probably the last thing Finn Harps want, to be fair as well. The Pats midfield, we know, is very, very strong. The Harps midfield are going to have to try and tie them down a little bit. You can see Mark Coyle and Seymour, they have to get tight to that Pats midfield. They really do. But they can hurt Pats as well. They proved at Finn Park and they won 3-1. Tunde scored a couple of goals in that game, and Pats will have to be very aware of him, his strength and his pace in behind. But Yeah, I mean, Harps, would they take a draw? It's difficult to know. They look at the Pats game at Richmond Park last week and think we've a chance here. But then again, Pats did attack quite well as well. It's just more defensively as a unit, and little mistakes, individual errors that kind of let them down. So they'll be trying to hone in on that, I've no doubt, because as you say, the cup is a couple of weeks, but you still need to get a couple of your performances right in the league, I think, as well. I think Pats might nick this one, Daz, to be honest with you, 2-1. I do think it's a massive game for Harps, but I think the 3-0 win for Sligo last week probably didn't do any Harps any favours, because any complacency that might be going into the game, I don't think it'll be allowed in this one, to be honest with you. I think Pats might just have enough to win this one 2-1.
Yeah, good stuff. I suppose, Keane, if Pats win their next 2 games, they've second place secured in the league. So it's a massive game for both teams. Absolutely no shadow of a doubt. Harps need to stay up. Have to want to secure a second. It'd be one of the highest. It is the highest league finish to finish second since they won the league a good few years ago now. So
not as long as Bows win the league, though.
No, unfortunately not. No.
I think we would get that. To be honest, I think Pats could probably lose the next 2 games. They'll still finish second.
Yes.
I don't see Sligo win their 2 games. It's a tough one. Pats have a big part to play in this season in terms of the Finn Harps and Waterford next week. Pats have a massive, massive role to play in terms of the division and how basically clubs fight.
Yeah,
so it's a tough one, and Pats are going to be way up for this. And I feel he's going to go with the strongest side. I know I missed the keeper.
Yeah.
We had 3 games in the week. It's impossible. I see people were criticising them for making so many changes, and you want to get into a rhythm for the cup final. You can't play 3 games a week and expect to have the same team. But now that's schedule is settled down now. We have 2 games, Friday, and then the cup game. So I would say definitely probably this game. I'm not going to say he's going to go with his starting 10. I'm going to say he's probably going to go with 8 or 9 of them. And then next week, he'll probably go with a starting 11. And, then, finish it off strong, hopefully, with a result on Waterford next week, and then the same squad again, for the final. But this game, it's a tough one. Pats struggle when Harps come to Richmond. And, I know this year we've battered them when they came to Richmond, but in recent seasons, we've really struggled against them. I remember last year, I think it was Georgie Kelly scored 2. We beat them, I think 2-0. Yeah. I think it was, but I think it was our only 2 chances in the whole game. Harps, they really know how to hold teams, especially at home and their own patch. They really go at teams. Look, they need to win. There's no doubt about it. They have to come to Richmond to get 3 points. I don't think a point is good enough. Or will they be good enough to beat Pats on the day? Probably not. I'm gonna say a Pats draw. I think
a Pats draw.
Well, yeah, a Pats draw.
They'll win on points. They'll win on points.
I think it'll be a tough game, and it'll be a tough night for Pats. And I think where it's going to come down to creativity that we're going to be looking for from Benson, from Forrester, from Billy King, Dara Bones. We're going to be looking for that little bit of magic. Can we get in behind? Can we get through the lines? And I think that's where Pats is going to win the game if we do win the game. I think Harps can definitely hold Pats, especially on the counter. You can't give Pats too much of the ball because they'll just drown the life out of you. And they will. And they've done that to Harps, and they've done that to a number of teams this year. So they're going to have to give them the ball, and they're going to have to sit in a little bit, but they can't sit too deep, and they can't afford to let Pats get a rhythm. And, you have to get on Chris Forrester. You have to mark him. You have to stay on him, because if he starts ripping the piss, forget about it. It's Pats win. In my opinion, that's how good he is.
Even against Sligo, Daz, he was very good, even though Pats overall struggled in terms of more off the ball, but he was very good, I thought, against Sligo as well, actually.
And against Bowes, he was very good.
Yeah.
He was
I think he's the key man for Pats, and I think if Finn Harps can keep him quiet, they might just get out there with a point. Like I said, will it be good enough? I don't know, but that could be a point that could keep them up. But like I says, they can definitely hope Pats. There's no doubt about it. And, you know, it's a game that I'm actually looking forward to. I don't know why, because people say Pats and Harps, but, you know, it's something I'm really looking forward to. I hope a big turnout for Stevie and the lads, because, you know, it's been an unbelievable season. And I know the cup final's 2 weeks away. But if we weren't in that cup final, I think Richmond Park would be still bouncing on Friday, because the season Pats have had, the football we've played, and, you know, it's a shame that for the first half of the season, no fans were in to look at it. And you couldn't really, from watching the games at home, I was lucky enough to be there at the mall, but, you know, you're looking at them on the telly, and it's not the same. That intensity doesn't look like it's there. Everything doesn't look like it's there. And what Stevie has done there this year, I think, deserves everything. Deserves every plaudit he gets, because Richmond Park should be rocking on Friday for him. And, you know, it's the last game of the season in Richmond. Let's go and give it a right go, and hopefully we get the win. But more than anything, I just hope they go and give support, or to give the players the support they deserve for the season that they've had. It's the last game of Richmond. We'll be down to Waterford next week. It'll be another tough game, but look, we worry about that next week. We just need to get out, hopefully get 3 points here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think myself too, you know, Pats have had an absolutely excellent season, one of the best seasons they've had in a long time. And Stevie's come in, he got a good bit of stick there last season, he got season before, and when he came in first, but everyone results weren't going well. And likes of Keano, if you're the same, stick with him. He knows what he's doing, and he went in, he sorted the team out, and look at the result now. This shows if you stick with your manager, you can reap your rewards. If you go up changing every 6 months, you kind of have nothing. You're rebuilding constantly. But I think myself, I think Harps are going to win this one. I think Ollie Horgan, when he gets to this part of the season, Finn Harps are a very dangerous team. They will hurt you. They'll be passionate. They'll be dogs. They'll go at you. They'll put everyone behind the ball. They'll get one opportunity and they'll take it and then clinch the 3 points. We've all seen it happen. They've done it a good few times this season. I could be completely wrong now. He
hasn't well worked out there, hasn't he?
They'll be dogs.
Yeah. But yeah, look, I actually think it's going to be Harps 1-0 win. I think this could be the game that'll keep Harps up. And then it could be Waterford in the playoffs. Hopefully enough Waterford fans, but Harps fans will be hoping they get the win. So let's look to both teams. As Keano says, the last game, Richmond Park, if you're a Pats fan watching this, or just a fan in general and you're in the area, get down, get to the grounds. The last game, it's going to be there for months, so get in there and support your team. I suppose moving to the final game then, it's going to be later on in the week. I think it's on Sunday. Longford are home to Waterford. Obviously Longford are gone down the east, and obviously Waterford, as we said, are level of points with Finn Harps. It's an absolutely massive game for Waterford. They'll be looking at this game as this is the one that they can get 3 points out of. This is the game that they'll have to win if they want to have a fighting chance of not being in that relegation playoff, because, you know, this takes results go either way for either team, and one's going to be playoff, one's going to be staying up, and sure as hell Waterford are going to want to be the team that's going to want to stay up just as much as Finn Harps is going to want to stay up. And, you know, actually Harps play Longford then again as well in the final week, so they both play Longford, and they could both get 3 points off them, which could go down to goal difference and depending on fixtures this week. But just looking at the game anyway, Keith, you know, Longford are home, as I said, they're gone down. It's a big game for Waterford.
Yeah, and I think Finn Harps in the back of their mind will be thinking, going to Richmond Park, in their mind that Waterford will win this game. That's what they'll be thinking. So Horgan will be saying, look, we have to go to Richmond, try and get the 3 points, you know. But yeah, it's very difficult to see. Like Waterford, the Longford season, it's really petered out badly, hasn't it? It just looks horrible when you look at the table. They're on 14, Waterford are on 40, and this is 9th and 10th. Do you know what I'm saying? But it's great to see actually Waterford getting a few players signed up to 2 and 3 year contracts, which is fantastic. I mean, it's something, I know it's a bit of a side note here, but something that's really come to the fore in the league in the last year or so, lads getting signed up to 2 and 3 years. I think as well that's because they know there's a lot of scouts over from England and Scotland looking as well, and it's kind of to protect them against that and try and get a fee, because there is a lot of talent in the league, but to get a fee is very important, a decent fee as well from 2 or 3 years. But that's fantastic for Waterford. The game itself, it's very difficult to talk about Longford now, isn't it? To be fair, their season petered out. You fancy Waterford have to go there and win, but there is pressure in that going to Longford now, having to win. Could you imagine Harps go to Richmond and win the game on Friday night? and Waterford have to go to Longford, like wholly expecting to go to Longford and get the 3 points. Pressure in that as well.
Yeah, 2 days later,
yeah.
which will put added pressure on the team as well.
Yeah, serious pressure in that as well, but it's very hard to go against. While I'm sitting here talking, it's very hard to go against Waterford actually creating the chances and getting a goal or two in this game. I know in the last few games they'll be disappointed with their defending though, particularly from set pieces. I think they've conceded 3 goals, haven't they, from set pieces? The last 2 games is sloppy, really sloppy goals as well. So that's something they're going to have to cut out against Longford Town because, Longford, this might be their last game, I think, at home this season. They might be well up for this as well. So maybe this is the game that they're up for. So, I do think Waterford will pinch it, but I don't know. It wouldn't shock me if Longford pinch a draw either, but I'll go for Waterford.
Keno, surely there's no other way than Waterford win this one. Like, if you're playing Longford, they're relegated, they're gone out of the league. But this is the game that has the most pressure, and you're going there expected to win. Like, no one's going to think, sure, they might win. You're expected to win. This could be the game Longford turn them over and win 2-0.
Yeah, could very easily happen. Like, Longford have been so unlucky this year. You go back and watch the games, and I can't get my head around why they've so little points on where they are in the table. And, people would say, they haven't defended great. I heard that. In terms of both boxes in the game of football, their own box and the opposition box, they've actually been really good. In terms in the middle, you look at Irvin, and so he's been really good. So you have to wonder where they're falling short. And it's mind-boggling. I can't get my head around it still. Like, I'm going back looking at like fiction or looking at highlights and stuff like that. Now I just can't believe that they haven't picked up another 20, 25 points, and I genuinely mean that. Looking at this one, it's a mad game for pressure. I don't think Waterford will win this. If I'm being honest, I think Harps will definitely, I think Longford will definitely get something out of it.
Do you think Friday's result actually, Keane, will play into this a little bit, depending on what happens there? Do you think psychologically?
No, not really. Well, obviously Friday's result, but if they lose, if Finn Harps lose to Pats, Waterford are going down there saying, right, we need a win.
Yeah.
If Finn Harps win, all of a sudden Longford are going down there saying we need a win. So I don't think it changes anything. I don't think it changes anything at all. But look, it's a big sign of intent from the club signing players on a long-term deals and stuff. But it's a gamble considering where they are in the table. And nothing is secure for next year. You'd like to think they can win the playoff if they are in it. But the problem is, Shells thought they'd win the playoff when they get into it. And, look, it'll see how it ended. And that's how quickly things can change in this league. And all of a sudden you find yourself down there. And, it's a nightmare to get out of, like we're saying. So this is a very hard game to judge. If I'm going off games, I think, like I says, in both boxes, I think Longford are a little bit better, funnily enough. I know Waterford for me play better when they haven't got the ball. And they win the ball and they're so great at counter-attacking. And I don't think, look, they'll probably prove me wrong, going win this 6 or 7-0. But I don't think their main qualities are with the ball. And, when they have the ball, can they use that bit of magic and can they break teams down and tire teams out? I don't think they're a team like that. They're similar to Drogheda in many ways. I think they play great on the counter and they can hurt you, but they can hurt you after when they win the ball back in 30 seconds, not after 4 or 5 minutes of the ball. Do you know what I mean? That's the type of team they are. I don't think they're going to get a lot of the ball here. I think they will have a lot of the ball here. And, can they go and break them down? Can they use that bit of magic? I'm not sure. I'm going to go for a draw here. I would like to see Finn Harps win, and I would like to see I would like to see Waterford win. Sorry, jeez, cancel that. I
thought there was something wrong with him for a minute there.
I would like to see Waterford win because I think they've been the better team, and I'd like to see the better team stay out of the playoff positions just on that. But look, you have to take every game as it comes. It's going to be a tough one. I think there's going to be a lot of voice on Waterford here. But I'm going to go for a draw.
Excellent stuff. I think for myself, I actually disagree entirely with what Keno said about the result won't I'm playing, but I think it 100% definitely will. The whole team, the management, everyone will be sitting down, they'll be analysing and watching the Harps and Pats and be looking and hoping and praying Pats will win that game. Because if Harps win this game, there's so much pressure on Waterford going down, and Longford will thrive off that. They are playing completely pressure free, in my opinion. They can go out mistakes, make mistakes if they want, or they can express themselves and play as much as they want to play as best as they can. I think
Keno thinks that Waterford need the 3 points regardless of the result on Friday, which is true as well. But there could be a psychological element, I suppose, there as well. Who knows? But they need the 3 points whether Harps win, draw, or lose. To be honest, from their point of view.
Yeah, and I think with Finn Harps playing Longford, and then with Waterford playing Pats. That's like I think it's a must win this weekend for Longford, no matter what happens, because you're thinking next week Pats are coming down there, prepared for the cup final. Everyone will be happy, but players will want to play for that cup final position on the day, and Pats are going to be right up for it. So it's going to be an interesting 2 weeks.
Yeah, definitely. I'm actually going to go myself for a 1-0 Longford win. So it'll be very interesting to see how that one pans out.
Did we cover all bases there again? Did we? I think we did.
I think we did.
I went for Waterford, Keno went for draw, and Daz went for Longford. We have it well planned this week, I tell you.
At least one of us will have results right this week, we hope. Thanks everyone for watching. Like the video, subscribe if you're new, and comment below. Let us know how you think your team's going to do, how you think it's going to go elsewhere in the league.
Hit your bell notification button.
And do what this man said here as well. Hit your bell notification button.
That's the one, isn't it?
Brilliant.